Without an audit, your remodel is based on best guesses instead of quantitative results. Next, let's take a look at a home energy audit.
Hi, my name is Corey. I'm a BPI certified auditor here at Washington Energy Services, and today I'm going to be performing a home energy audit.
We start each audit with a brief interview with the homeowner. This is to understand the unique needs and concerns of the home. For this particular homeowner, they were concerned about their bedrooms being too cold in the winter as well as too warm in the summer. They also complained about high electric utility costs and finally suffered from allergies and want to improve the indoor air quality of the home.
So, just got done taking a walk around the outside of the house. Some of the things that I'm looking for on that outside inspection, I'm looking at venting, I'm looking at siding, windows, spots where water might be intruding into the home in any way. Alright, so now we're going to check out the unconditioned parts of this house, which would be the attic and the crawl space. I'm going to use this camera here, put it on my head, and it's going to allow me to show Jenny what's going on in these spaces without her actually following me up there. So now that we're up in the attic, one of the first things we want to look at is the levels of insulation that are up here. As you can see, there's about 4 inches of insulation. That equates to an R value of about 12. Standard in Washington now is R49, so about 4 times as much insulation up here would be adequate to keep this home properly insulated. The next thing that we're looking at is we're looking for any kind of penetrations that are up here into inside. These are sources where heat can rise from the inside and escape out into this attic. Another important thing to point out in this attic, if you notice over here we have ventilation soffits. If we were to add more insulation up here, it'd be important to install what we call baffles, which are essentially channels that allow air to rise above the insulation. All right, so we're in the crawl space now. One thing to point out down here is, if you'll notice, there is no insulation in this crawl space. So that means that the underside of this home is completely unprotected from the elements. This electric furnace right here, electric furnaces are a very inefficient way to heat your home. A couple of options that can be much more energy efficient. It could be a gas furnace or possibly even a heat pump system. So those are a couple of things that I'm going to recommend to Jenny. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is how that conditioned air is being distributed throughout the home, which is through this ductwork here. First thing we're going to take a look at is this dirty insulation that you can see on this ductwork. That indicates some sort of air leakage is going on within the ductwork. So if we pull back this insulation, we'll see what kind of gaps we're talking about. If you can see here, there's actually a decent gap right there where that air can get inside the ductwork. Another thing to point out is this thin insulation that's on the ductwork itself. The R value of this type of insulation at this thickness is about an R2. Code now is R8, so just a much thicker insulation on the outside will just help get that conditioned air to the registers properly. Next we have what's called a blower door test. So we're going to be measuring air leakage of the home. So we're going to be sucking air out with this fan here. It's going to depressurize the home. We're also going to be using this manometer, which is just measuring pressure. We're going to take the pressure of this home as well as the volume of this home, plug it into some software that we have. That'll help us identify how leaky this house is in comparison to other homes of this size. One of the tools that we use while conducting the blower door test is this infrared camera here. This infrared camera shows temperature difference. So it can show us where we're missing any insulation as well as where cold air is infiltrating in from outside. One thing that we've identified here is this penetration for the ceiling fan. If you've ever wondered why a ceiling fan fins tend to get dirtier faster than other parts of the house, it's because this fan is pulling air from above it before it's pushing that air down into the living space. So it's actually pulling that dirty attic air and distributing it throughout the home. So one thing that I'm pointing out here is just how leaky these single pane aluminum windows are. So as you can see with this smoke pencil, we're getting a lot of air leakage around these frames. Alright, that wraps up the testing portion of this audit. I'm now going to take all the data that I've gathered so far. I'm going to put it into some software that we have that'll help me generate a report that I'm going to present to Jenny.
At Washington Energy, it's our goal to provide you honest, accurate, and reliable information so that you can make informed and great remodel decisions.